Okay, Herc, the 2026 World Cup may well be 4 years away, but we are just 3 days away from finding out which cities are going to actually be hosting the game. So we're going to help FIFA out a little bit. Right here on Futbol Americas, we're going to do our very own version of a World Cup host city draft, my man. What do you think? Are you ready?
I'm in, and just let the people know I've already won the coin toss, so I got number one.
Okay, you do have the number one pick. Here's how we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it like a fantasy football draft, right? Where you snake. So Herc will get odd number picks. I'll get the even number picks. We'll pick the top 10 cities, because we know there'll be at least 10 U.S. cities. There could be actually more, so we'll give Herc a bonus pick at the end for somebody who is left out. All right, Herc, number one pick in the World Cup host city draft for U.S. cities that have bid to host. Who you taking?
I am taking the City of Angels, Los Angeles, California, my man. And I don't care if it's Pasadena in the Rose Bowl, a lot of history there. 94 final, women's 99 final, or if you want to go SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, all the bells and whistles. I know there's maybe some things you need to do to the field, make it standardized, all that, but you cannot go wrong with Los Angeles. You cannot go wrong with California. That's who I'm taking, LA.
Okay, and real quick, if it is LA, which site did you prefer, new or old?
I kind of prefer new. Keep it in the South Bay.
Ah, there it is.
Keep it in the South Bay.
Home court advantage. He loves the shiny new things out there in Los Angeles. All right, so I got the second pick here. I'm going to bring it back to the East Coast, as I am an East Coast guy. I'm going New York, New Jersey. I mean, pretty obvious, right? We got to get LA. We got to get New York in there. So I think those probably had to be, if not your first two picks, pretty close to the top five. I think New York, New Jersey, Herc is a pretty good bet, too, to host big games. I think you could very easily see a final in an LA. You could see a final in a New York, New Jersey as well. So I'm going there with my first pick and the second overall pick in our World Cup host city draft. Number three, Herc, to you.
My number two pick, number three overall, Herculez Gomez is selecting Seattle, Washington, Lumen Field. Now, listen to this, okay? Listen to this. You want to celebrate a World Cup in your country. Celebrate it where there's history, where they embrace it, where it's part of the fabric of its everyday life. I'm talking about the Seattle area. I'm talking about Lumen Field. I'm talking about showing off Emerald City, what that great soccer plaza is all about. There are few places I've been in the States where the soccer is so rich and so emphatically celebrated like Seattle.
Yes, there it is. Today's edition of Sounders TV. Seattle, a great choice. I don't know if I would have had him third overall, but
I can't let you pick him.
Herc gets Seattle in there at number three. Okay, so my pick, my second pick, fourth overall, I'm going with the city of Miami. I think there's a lot of people when, people from not the United States, from outside the United States, when they think of the U.S., they might think of L.A. or New York. I think especially if you go down into Latin America, when you ask people what they think of the U.S., they're going to tell you Miami. Miami is the United States for a lot of people.
South America for sure.
You've got to be in Miami. Messi's going to be there playing for Inter Miami. Ronaldo's going to be there for Inter Miami. You're going to want them in the stands for these games. Miami has to be there. They've got to be, for me, a top five pick. So I got them in there at number four. Who are you going with at number five?
Nightlife, Sebi has spoken. All right, I'm going at number five.
South Beach Sev.
South Beach Sev, exactly. I'm going to Dallas, baby! Let's keep it in Texas. All things are bigger and greater in Texas, right? Well, one of the biggest stadiums.
What about the temperatures,
in the States? Oh, it's domed. This will be domed. Don't start with the temperatures. Did you see what they were playing in Qatar today? Okay?
Oof, yes,
it was in the high
90s.
90s. That's what it'll be like in summer in some of these cities anyway, so let's not go there. Texas, AT&T Stadium. Jerry Jones, Jerryland. That's what we're taking it to. You can't negate Dallas. Talk about rich soccer history, talk about Latino population, talk about infrastructure, everything you need, it's there.
Yeah, definitely. Love Dallas as a pick. They're in at number five and number six. I'll keep us in the great state of Texas. Herc, I'm going Houston. I got some personal ties to Houston. Spent a couple years there, 2013, 2014, covering the Houston Dynamo, Houston Dash. I know that market well. It's a really great market for hosting huge events. One, you have two massive airports, which is key for getting people in and out. You got every facility you could want. And I think a lot of times when we think about soccer diversity in this country, we think Latino and great. there's a huge population from the African diaspora in Houston. So you put games there, you're going to have a lot of people who are from the countries in Africa that have qualified who can make it to their games. So I think Houston is a key city. I cannot see them not getting a piece.
What is that, NRG Stadium?
NRG, yeah, where the Texans play. All right, so we got them in there at number 6. Number 7, your pick. Where are you going?
I'm going to Mercedes-Benz. I'm going to Atlanta. Listen, a lot of this is fueled by the popularity of the sport because of Atlanta United. Insane support, an explosion of popularity for the sport, and it's also a logistical hub. I mean, the airport has flights all over the world, direct flights. It's centrally located. It'll be easy to get to.
Our producer is saying great wings. Does he mean that about Atlanta, Beto? Okay, he says there's a place. Okay, I didn't know that Atlanta was like famous for its wings, but yes, okay. I've had some. We'll dig into Atlanta's wing scene in another episode of Futbol Americas. All right, my pick at number 8.
Nighttime wings is what I'm hearing in my head.
Yes. Oh well, you know, at nighttime all wings are great. My pick here at number 8. I'm bringing us back to the East Coast. I'm going with Philadelphia. Now, as a DC guy, it's a little tough to pick Philly, but again, a perfect hub. A perfect hub in terms of travel. You're perfectly situated right there on I-95. You can get to New York very quickly. You can get down to Washington, Baltimore, who are also in the race for hosting very quickly. I think Philly is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful sports town on top of that. You got huge immigrant populations there, so Philly for me gets an obvious vote in there at number 8. Herc, number 9 to you.
So last pick, I could have easily gone with, Kansas City. But, Arrowhead's old. I could have gone with Denver, but, the old Mile High Stadium and whatnot. I went with Levi's Stadium in San Francisco, California. Actually, it's in Santa Clara, but I went with the Bay Area. I went with the Bay Area. It's the second Cali one. I just think it makes sense. It's a beautiful stadium. It's a beautiful climate, town, if you will. I gave it to Cali, so just because I wanted to.
There you go. So Herc putting 2 California cities into our top 10 for this World Cup host city draft. All right, so I got the last pick of the top 10. We're going to give a bonus pick here just in case FIFA decides to award another spot to a U.S. city. Let me check first here who's left. We got Orlando, Denver, Nashville, Kansas City, Boston, and D.C. Baltimore, which is a combined bid. Last pick, bro. What do you think I'm going to do here? I'm bringing it in for the 202 and Washington, D.C. Now, I'll actually say this with a bit of shame. It is pathetic that Washington, D.C. couldn't stand alone and have its own bid. It's the freaking nation's capital. We don't really have a stadium even where you could host this. The best bet right now is in Maryland, and that's not really an option. So it's a combined bid with Baltimore. Thank goodness Baltimore has the infrastructure. They can host soccer. The one thing you have in Washington, you got the National Mall. So the idea of like a 1,000 or maybe million people watch party for a big U.S. game on the mall, just for that alone, and because it's my hometown, I'm sliding D.C. in there at number 10. Herc, you have the final word. One more choice. Again, your choice here is between Boston, Kansas City, Nashville, Denver, Orlando, and Cincinnati. Who you going with?
I can't believe you didn't pick Boston. That's unbelievable. So let me be the one to pick Cincinnati.
You didn't pick Boston.
I'm picking Cincinnati. And let me tell you why. Because a state that has meant so much for U.S. soccer, the Mecca, Ohio, deserves a game. And Columbus ain't up there. It would have been Columbus for me. But I'm going to give it to Cincinnati, which this will make it officially the 187th game this year that Cincinnati's been granted for U.S. soccer.
Come on, man. Come on.
But Ohio deserves it.
I mean, I'm not going to say Ohio doesn't deserve it. Everybody deserves it. But
no, everybody does not deserve it.
Do we need more games in Ohio?
Everybody does not deserve it.
Do we need more trips to Ohio, Herc?
I mean, DC doesn't even have its own stadium. Why does it deserve it?
That's what because it's the nation's capital, bro. You gotta visit the nation's capital.
Come on, that's
part of the story of visiting a World Cup. You're gonna go to a foreign. We went to Moscow. Did they not have games in Moscow and Russia? Come on, man.
Yeah.
Please, a little respect here for the nation's freaking capital. All right, Herc doesn't want to do it. There we go. It's our top 10 list. Who did we leave out? Denver, Orlando, Nashville, Kansas City, and Boston. We're very, very sorry. We promise.
I'm not sorry.
We still love you here at Futbol Americas.